Thank you. Time back on.
That's Ruffcraft, big boy.
Welcome to the Captain's Run, Week 4, Episode 4. Very excited to still be on the air. And I've got our regular host, maybe change the name of the title of the podcast. Not sure what to, maybe the skipper and helmet run or something. I don't know, but Angus Brayshaw has returned. Welcome.
Yep, thanks for having me. Let's keep brainstorming ideas.
Yeah.
We won't land on that just yet, but I'm very happy to be back.
Yeah. What's your gut feel? Do you think we need to change the name of the podcast, or is it the Captain's Run with Angus Brayshaw?
I've always maintained I don't want to step on your toes.
Yeah.
So whatever you're feeling, I'll run with, because you're giving me a job, not the other way around.
Well, you almost got shafted today because it was a 9:30 a.m. start.
Yep.
And you got here at 9:28.
It's actually interesting, that stuff. Punctuality.
If you want to be a host of the podcast, you'd have to do some sort of mind mapping before we start.
It's funny, you wanted a basic English lesson last week around hyperbole, and I've got one for you this week. So I messaged Max at 8:35 saying, hey, mate, what time were you on? I forget. And you said, and I quote directly,
Yep, this is me.
Come down now soon, end quote.
Yep, that's pretty direct.
And so I've said now soon classic, and there's been no reply until the TikTok you were very late.
Yeah.
The message came about half an hour later. So now soon, I looked it up in the dictionary, and it's such a contradiction, which means...
it's a hyperbole, isn't it?
Essentially.
Yeah.
So now and soon, Max, don't really make sense in the same sense. So I'm being thrown off. I'll make a mind map for next week.
Okay. We have some big guests today. The past player phone call will go out again.
Yep.
Very excited with that one. And we also have a couple of people at the end of the show that are best friends apparently, but I don't hear one of them talk about the other much.
Interesting.
One's been on Big Brother and one is the best fullback one going around at the moment. So that'll be an interesting little finish.
Sure.
Wonder if I gave that away. Let's talk about
Oscar McDonald.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room straight away.
Instantly.
The loss.
Yep.
We lost to Brisbane by 4 points.
Mm-hmm.
Probably wasn't the best game to watch if you wanted to see classic game of AFL, but the rain sort of made it really contested. It was a really fun game to play in because of how contested it was, and you didn't have time with the ball. No one had possessions apart from Clayton, I think. Everyone else was quite low on the possession tally. It wasn't really one of those games. But Brisbane were too good.
Yeah, I got the sense that it was a finals type game. They're really contested, as you said. Their pressure's unbelievable, and I'm an optimist. I think we take away that they're probably the form team of the comp, and them in Port, and we managed to drag it back to within a kick, and we kick a bit straighter. Then it's a different story. So
if Bailey Fritsch just marks the ball for one and then doesn't give away 50.
Well, that's the real elephant in the room that we should address. We'll get further in one day.
Cozzy's got to stop his dangerous tackling.
Yeah, true. No,
we're not allowed to talk about that.
We love the umpires here.
We're a controversial podcast, but we're not going down that path.
We're not drawing that battle line.
No. Short turnaround into, as you've said, the other form team of the comp, in your opinion?
Yep, I think so. I don't mind the short turnaround. I think that, we've got Burjo working hard. We've got that, well, for those who don't know, you obviously do. We've got this recovery centre, which is unreal. It's got everything you could ever want. And we've got a beach near the hotel. So we've got access to every single recovery tool possible. I think we'll be fresh and ready to go.
I do feel fresh. The beach... I know I live coastally in Victoria, but the cold water doesn't really entice me to go in every single day like it does up here. So I've been going in the morning, going in for a morning dip.
Has your Mal come up?
No, I've got a Mal coming up on Tuesday.
How big is it for the people at home?
9 foot. Single fin.
Nice.
And that is the only terminology I know. All that I know is I'm going to get in the green room, which is exciting.
With Lingers? He'll be there.
Yeah, with Lingers and Jonesy and the boys. Me and him are going to go out back and get some OTB waves.
Yep. Out the back for those who aren't quite up with the lingo.
So I just presume that was common lingo because it's so natural.
Because I'm a
to me.
surfer. Yeah. You're talking with one. That's right.
But yeah, I'm excited for my gnarly board to make its way up. So I've also got my bike up here, and I've been riding to the beach in the morning.
Have you got the trifecta here? Where are your golf sticks?
No, my wife is it. Oh, sorry, my golf sticks. My golf sticks are here as well.
So you've got the big three.
I've got
Jess is a narrow fourth.
Well, if I had my priority list, what I needed up here, and Jess was sitting at 6, and I've got 5 of them up here. So she is next on the on the list. But obviously, tennis racket.
Good luck, Jess.
Tennis racket had to make it way up first.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a couple of squash courts nearby, so I need a squash court racket as well. Squash court racket, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Something caught my attention this week.
I love it.
And I feel like this is the best way to speak about it.
Okay.
Because we were involved in a Herald Sun piece. I'm not obviously in Melbourne, so I'm not reading the Herald Sun
Nor am I.
up here, but my lovely wife sent me a photo of what was supposedly my wage and said, you didn't tell me you were on this much.
Now, this could be an all-time Swiftie from you,
Yes.
earning significantly less to Jess than what you really are and are just pocketing a nice little profit.
Yeah, and I said I didn't tell you that because they have got my wage wrong by upwards of $250,000.
That's unbelievable.
Which seems like very, very lazy reporting to mine.
Well, now, I spoke about not wanting to draw battle lines against the umpires. I think I've got the stick out and I'm drawing the line in the sand because I just can't believe this either. Like, how far off.
To think that you're in the top 100 paid players.
I know, I couldn't believe it. You
That
told
is
me that about
laughable.
5 minutes ago. I still can't. My hands are shaking. I wish. What was the cutoff? What was 100? You said 600.
It was around 650 was the 100, I reckon.
In my dreams.
Yeah. So
I dream about 600.
I was in the top 10 highest paid players, and I signed my contract when my hamstring was off my bone in 2017. So that's a ballsy call from Melbourne to think I'd be.
Who's done the? Let's name names.
One's initials were John R. No, that's too obvious. J. Ralph.
J. Ralph. Okay. We like anonymity.
Yeah. McFarlane. Glenn. Not Luke. And Jay Clark, I think, were the guys that put their names to that story.
Jeez.
I'd love to know, and if they can get me that money that I'm supposedly on, I would love it.
Is it a what you deserve sort of money? Is that what they're saying?
Well, I'm not sure. Maybe they've just taken a wild guess and thought, I reckon he's on this.
How does that get by in this world that we live in?
I don't know.
Because when I do reporting, e.g. about lingers, it's all factually accurate.
Yeah, and when Benny Gibson comes on with the news,
he doesn't make stuff up and say
it's
today.
boring.
Exactly.
But it's accurate.
So the news is boring. Like, that's the way it is. But people need to hear what they need facts.
Correct.
So I think we go hard at the Sun. I'll write a letter, send it in.
And we got to talk to Josh Marnie and Tim Lamb, the guys. To have 8 players over 600,000 means everyone else on the list is on 60 grand.
Who's our guest next week? Can we make it Marnes and Lammy just to sort
I feel
through?
sorry for Oscar McDonald. He's got nothing.
Porterhouse is on chips, and he's the best fullback. And you said he's the best fullback in the game earlier off the top. So he needs a bit more. But that's a joke.
Anyway, we've had our little whack.
Yeah,
we're going to get to something a little bit more novel.
Sure.
Danielle.
Wow.
Your girlfriend.
My girlfriend
comes up on Friday.
Yeah, she does.
That's very exciting.
It's not a visual medium. There's a camera over there, but I did just get a little smile. Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's been 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, what number was she on the priority list for you? You've got the clubs up.
I've got the clubs. That was...
She was number 2.
I think, but I don't play tennis. I'm not a massive tennis guy.
Yeah.
I shred, for those who don't know, in the swell, but maybe not that gnarly.
Well, shred in the swell isn't a quote that I normally use.
Yeah, because I'm on level A.
You're at level A.
I'm at level A. You're probably entry level C or D, so you'll get there one day. But, I mean, she's probably... second off the list.
Just before we go, I had this debate with Hunty, who also calls himself a gnarly swell guy. Yeah.
Yep.
Is it classified surfing if you get up on the board,
Has to be,
or is it classified surfing if you ride with the wave? So if I get up on the board and ride the whitewash all the way in, am I surfing or am I attempting to surf?
You have to be surfing.
So he thinks I'm not. He thinks I'm still learning to surf if I've just stood up and rode the whitewash.
The way I think of it, Max, is everyone's always learning to surf because the water's teaching you something new every time you're out there.
Oh, that's one of the best quotes ever.
I'm channeling my inner lingers. No one ever stops learning.
All right, well, it is the news segment. I said I wasn't extremely excited for this just before,
Sure.
but let's go to our little grab.
Okay, you go.
It's Benny Gibson.
He's got the news.
He's got the news.
We were talking earlier about Cozzie's tackle. He actually got fined from that.
Did he actually?
He got fined.
You're
for
joking. Are you
spin
making that
tackle.
up? Is
no,
this
boring and accurate.
boring and accurate? My God.
Wow,
How
how
much
much?
was he fined?
I think it was 1,500.
I'll
down
kick
to
in for that.
1,000.
Well, you
Yeah.
should.
I'll
On
kick in for that.
950.
950.
If I ever get a fine, I know where I'm going as well.
And then Dan McStay also got 2 weeks in that game for his hit on Nev Jetta. Nev Jetta got cleaned up
yes.
a couple
He
of
got
times.
how many weeks?
Which
Two.
one was
2
it?
weeks.
Yeah,
Was it
right.
the
one
first
where he
one?
turned on,
Yep.
turned bumped, and Nev was in a bit of trouble, but unfortunately didn't get concussion. In
Yep.
terms of injury news, Vander's probably 1 game away, recovering quite well from that cheekbone surgery.
It
However,
looks horrific.
it looks shocking.
Yeah,
I laughed the first time I saw him. I felt so bad.
he needs all things going well for his head. And
Yeah.
unfortunately,
one's
this isn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can relate, so I feel for him.
He said he couldn't even laugh the other day. So
Yeah.
But
Well,
1 week away.
lucky he doesn't laugh very often.
In terms of practice match update, so the boys had to hit out last Friday in a mixed game. They were on the same team as Richmond and Essendon playing against Carlton. I'm hearing Tom McDonald kick 4, and Sparrow and Jordan apparently are just flying. Any insights into those boys, how they're going?
Yeah, so Sparrow and Jimmy Jordan, James Jordan has written in his birth certificate, but he is Jimmy to us, have been going really, really well. They've been obviously behind Angus Brayshaw, Clayton Oliver, Jack Viney, Christian Petracca, and James Harms throughout the start of this season, but those two are putting on amazing amounts of pressure, and Angus can tell you how hard it is to train, although we haven't been able to train with them for a couple of weeks at least, but
Yeah.
they just keep putting on the pressure, and I wouldn't be surprised if one of them were in over the next couple of weeks. Also, Tommy, of course, he's going to dominate a game with open space and being able to mark and get his confidence back. So I'm excited for him to come back into the team whenever that is. But the two boys are doing pretty well in there at the moment as well, in Sam and Dogger Jackson. I mean, to keep Harris Andrews, I'm not sure how many marks, but he's one of the best intercept markers in the comp. And to be honest, I felt like Dogger and Weeds did their job there.
Yeah,
Could you
agreed.
see a 3 tall setup?
I could, because Bailey plays as a tall, so it might end up being a four
tall.
tall if Bailey plays as well.
Yeah.
I thought Brisbane was the team to try it against because they have an amazing tall defence. But so do Port, Tom Jonas and Cleary. So it'll be an interesting little concept if they do go with Tommy.
I've just noticed your bit of nail polish there. Is that a Frankie Melksham job?
Yeah, do you get it?
Yeah, I had a thumb done, a stray thumb last week.
So Frankie Melksham paints our nail, and Bobby Jones, to a point where it was actually quite funny. The time gone, Bobby Jones did my 2 thumbs, and then Frankie came and inspected it and quote unquote said, "What is she doing? How can I fix this up?"
Brutal feedback, necessary feedback in the nail polish
There
game.
were some patches, so
Yeah.
no, that's been the boys have been getting their nails done by Frankie
Good luck.
and Bobby the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, talking of thumbs, Todd Marshall, thumb surgery, he's out for Port Adelaide.
What a
So
segue.
that's a big loss. Yeah.
That's unreal.
I planned that about 2
Did you,
months ago.
did you write
get
it? So that's written down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. That's research.
Okay,
Segue.
so, yeah.
Boring. Who said boring and factual?
Accurate was the word we
Accurate.
used. Yeah, it's all right.
That's right.
And then Port Adelaide actually coming off a 29-point loss to St Kilda, which was a big one for the team that's sitting top of the table, expecting them to rebound, I'm guessing.
Well, St Kilda looked very good at Adelaide Oval. Won both
Two
their
for two.
games there, and we go there next week and also play Port this week. So it would have been rude not to watch that Port St Kilda game. And it was good to see people play in front of fans.
Oh, yeah.
Even though they were relatively quiet in the last quarter, the first 3 quarters was
Yeah.
electric footy. So I'm excited to go there in a week and a half and play the Crows. But we do have Port first, and like you said, they're going really well up until their St Kilda loss. But even then, the first 3 quarters, they played some pretty good footy.
Great. That's it. Short and sharp. Got me back in the first segment.
Right on.
Really appreciate
What
that.
I do want next week, before we go to the break, is our favourite shapes have been popular up here. A lot of people are eating shapes. I'm not sure if you're a big shape man, Gibbo, but Angus is. There's 7 flavours: savoury, cheddar, pizza, barbecue, chicken and bacon, nacho cheese and chicken.
They're the staples.
Yeah, they're the staples. Then you get your Aussie barbecue or
Yeah,
your steak and eggs,
Vegemite.
Vegemite. They come in for once every 2 months. I just want a list of 1 to 7 for next time.
I'll work
From
on
you.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might go to Coles this afternoon.
Just have a look.
Beautiful.
Yeah, do some research. We like that.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Gibbo.
Thank you.
I say this every week. It is my favourite segment.
You do say it.
We get to call the past players. We just go through my phone and see who we got.
Who have you got this week?
We've got the best tagger the Melbourne Football Club has ever had.
Wow.
And it's not James Harms. He wore the number 13. It is one of the greats, Jordie McKenzie. Jordan, you there?
I am here, and that's a very flattering introduction, mate, and probably not overly true. I reckon Godfrey and a few others would, very much argue that case. But thanks, mate.
Simon Godfrey. I don't think I've got his phone number in my phone. I wouldn't mind calling Godders as well.
Yeah, I reckon he'd probably deserve a better intro than that. But mate, I'll claim it, mate. My head's growing by the second.
All right, talk to me about living in Melbourne at the moment. Obviously, we are away, and we're not. We are keeping up with obviously my wife Jess, that you know very well, is down there. But I'm intrigued to know what life with COVID is for you at the moment.
Yeah, it's obviously pretty heavy lockdown the last few weeks, so it's pretty uneventful for everyone, and with everyone with the masks on and everything, it's a bit of a strange setup, but so it's just, I think, very much routine for a lot of people. If you're lucky enough to be working, it's often working from home.
Yep.
And you're still allowed to exercise and that type of thing. So it's obviously different times, but at the same time, it could be a lot worse. So everyone's getting through.
Have you got a red mask?
A red mask, what to go with the hair?
Oh, it's just a question.
I've got just a stock standard mask, but now you mentioned that, I might
red.
go with the red mask just to sort of really layerise.
Yeah, that sounds like you as well, Veg, a real layeriser.
Absolutely, on and off the field, Gus, yeah.
Just a personal one from mine, mate. The concussions. Just give everyone an update. How are you going? You've been in the wars a bit. How's things?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I've had to hang up the boots, I suppose, over the last sort of year or so. Just probably the concussions got a bit worse as the career went on. Just got them a bit more frequently, and the symptoms and all that sort of lingered around a bit longer each time. So I'm going pretty good as far as I'm probably one of the lucky ones in the sense that it doesn't stop me from doing anything. I still get a few low-level symptoms here and there, and it was unfortunately enough for the neurosurgeon to say don't keep playing. So that was pretty flat with not being able to pull the boots on and that type of thing. But as I said, compared to some blokes that have McCartans of the world that have significant ongoing symptoms and that affects their everyday life, in that sense I'm lucky. But unfortunately no playing, which is a bit frustrating.
So just fill us in on what you've been up to with footy. You finished at the D's and you went and played Sandford footy, is that right?
Yep. A couple of years over in the Sandford with Mitch Clisby, ex-Demon. Loved it over there. So I had a couple of years with North Adelaide Roosters.
The Roosters. That suits you.
What's that? Sorry, mate. Cut out a bit then.
That suits you playing for the Roosters.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
mate.
Veg.
Just keep pumping me up. But this setup's actually quite good for me, mate. I've got a head for podcasts and radios rather than TV, so I'll probably more toe that line than anything.
Makes three of us. That's all right.
Had a sorry, just cutting out a little bit, but had a couple of years over there. Then probably that's when I sort of started to get a bit more concussions and that type of thing. So always wanted to finish off back playing at Terang.
Yep.
And then so came back and played that back there and did some assistant coaching as well back at the hometown. And more recently, not playing and doing a bit of assistant coaching at De La Salle in the amateurs. So
De La Salle, I didn't pick
footy.
you as a private schoolboy.
Yeah, I stand out like a sore thumb, mate, amongst the private school boys. But
right.
they're all good fellas, and obviously a bit disappointing not being able to get involved more so this year with it all being put on hold. But we'll keep probably looking at being involved, from a coaching aspect going forward, I suppose.
Yeah. All right. So those that remember the Veg McKenzie play will definitely remember some of your great tagging efforts. But the one that stands out for me, Jord, is definitely Brendan Goddard. You had an interesting relationship with Brendan Goddard to a point where you were one of the best people to tag him, and he got fired up, something shocking, and he took it out on you a lot of the time. Can you just talk us through the relationship you had with BJ?
Yeah, well, I don't know him personally, but yeah, as you said, we crossed paths a couple of times on the field, and yeah, as everyone knows, you can probably get a bit fired up and get a bit grumpy, especially with an annoying bloke like me, being a pest and following around. So yeah, had a couple of good battles with him, and yeah, a little bit fiery at times, I suppose, but. Yeah, no, it was good, mate.
Would you say you're up 3-0?
I don't know if I played on him that many times, but I don't know. Good battles, mate. Good battles.
Yeah.
And you've got a new nephew, Veg, El, who's at our club now. How's that going?
Is it Kit?
Yep, Kit. Yeah, little Kit. So yeah, no, all going well. He's healthy, and yeah, so no issues on that front. It was actually funny. We had. In the first lockdown, we had a family Zoom, and they were talking about potential names for when Kid arrived.
Was Veg thrown up?
And they oh, sorry, you cut out a bit.
Keep going.
Yeah, and then they've so one of the names they've thrown up was Kit, and it was a bit of a thumbs up, thumbs down thing, and I've gone with the thumbs down. And this is a few months ago.
Oh, no.
And even worse, Ali screenshotted that reaction. So sure enough, they've had Kit, and I couldn't even remember that. But then Ali said, "We haven't forgotten, by the way." And then, so as I said to her, though, the name's grown on me, and
well, you had to say that, didn't you?
I've got some work to do in the favourite uncle stakes for sure, boys. Yeah, coming from a fair way back.
All right. Just to finish up, tell us about your love for the D's. Well, hoping you're still a mad Demon supporter, and tell us who's your favourite player currently.
Yeah, absolutely. Big D's fan, still paid up member, and
good man.
Love watching you boys. Love watching you boys go about it. So yeah, got a few favourites, mate. Can I throw a few names around?
Mate, list them off, and if it's not the number 13, Clayton Oliver, I'll be really disappointed.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolute star. Love watching him play.
Yeah.
Yeah, his side kicks in the midfield as well. Obviously, you two, the co-hosts here. But
you're just saying
you
that.
You blokes are flush for confidence, so I'll keep moving through you. I love watching Vines play. Just his last few weeks in particular have been unbelievable. But just hard as a cat's head. I'll tell you one who I reckon. Yeah, I love watching play, and I reckon he's real important. Is Vandenberg.
Ah, right, the big Checkerberg choice.
The big Checkerberg, the boy from Holland. Yeah, I reckon he's really important. He's just a unique type of player, a bit of a hard one to match up on, and he's hard as a cat's head as well. So there's a few favourites. I love the stalwarts too, Nev, Chunky Jones, them sort of blokes that have been so good for so long, and so. Good to give the veterans a shout out as well.
Feel free to name the whole list if you want. We've got time.
Yeah, I could go all day, but I'm glass half full. I reckon the D's. I'll tell you. I think Garlo said something similar the other week. I think very positive. So we'll be riding you boys home, and I reckon this is just about to turn the corner. So hopefully a bit of finals footy in a few months. So we won't get too excited just yet. Beautiful.
We just need to kick our goals. I'd say we're missing a few goals. We certainly shouldn't be taking any tips from you, because I still remember your goal, your attempt on goal against Brisbane at Marvel. We won't talk about it because I know you're still embarrassed about it, but.
I am. The worst thing is I can't even blame the bruise or anything. The roof was shuttered out yet. Marvel.
All right.
But give Jeremy Howe or Bernie Vince a couple of beers, and they go trawling through YouTube, and they're quick to remind me of that one. So it's that's a good lasting memory.
Good man. All right, thanks for joining us, Veg. Get back to whatever you've been doing throughout this little isolating lockdown period, and stay safe.
Will do. Thanks a lot, fellas. Good luck this week.
See you, mate.
Veg. See ya.
Thanks to our co-principal partner and podcast sponsor, Zurich Insurance. For over 100 years, they've been insuring the people and things you truly love. And just like you, they truly love footy, and they truly love the D's.
All right, welcome back. This is the more exciting part of the podcast. We've actually got a guest in.
Yeah.
It's been hard with restrictions to get guests in. We're doing a lot of phone calling. This guest is, talking about the John Ralph list, I think he got his incredibly wrong as well.
Top of the tree type areas.
He had him midfield,
wow.
which surely isn't correct as well. So,
Terrible reporting.
I'm not sure if he knows what we're talking about, but it's the best full backman in our team.
Oscar McDonald, Stephen May. How are you,
Stephen
mate?
May.
I'm good, boys. Thanks for having me.
No worries. You've obviously heard a lot about the new podcast going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit. Captain's Run, I believe it's called.
Yep.
And Gussie's a new host or just a special guest host?
Yeah, I'm just the lifeblood of the show. They brought Rick in and he nearly killed it, so they've got me back.
Wow, they brought Rick in?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
brought Rick in.
exactly. My reaction, exactly. It's good to have you, Steve.
We're still not sure if Gus is the way forward. We're rocking up at 9:29 for a 9:30 podcast.
I would bring it up in this forum, but Maisie's probably not the one to go to with English issues.
Oh, you're going? Yeah, right. So it's 2 against 1. All right.
Two
Anyway,
against one.
we got a guess.
It's Steve.
Yeah, we returned to Metricon the week just gone, and we were able to use Gold Coast home rooms. What was that like, going back to the old club? Well, not the old sort of fortress, the old ground. And you weren't even sitting in your locker. You were sitting somewhere else, weren't you?
Yeah, it was pretty emotional, I'll be honest. When I saw the big S May up in number 17, I was pretty flat. They didn't put me in there.
Yep.
Put me in Will Power's locker. So I thought, wow, all right, welcome back. And yeah, our midfield's been going pretty good of late, but at first, the start of the game, it felt like the old days, and they were just coming straight out of the midfield. So I don't know what you boys are doing in there, but
Sorry for making you defend one-on-one.
yeah, I know. Jeez, we've got to earn our money somehow. But,
Fair bit of it as well from Ralphie's report. But that's
Mate,
all right.
go easy on Ralphie.
Ralphie was nice to me in that.
Now, Maisie, look, we're crunched for time, and as much as I'd love to break down your golf game, we probably don't have, the facilities to do it. You've got an awkward slice that you need to work on, but there is a golf course around the corner, and I've heard you're out there a bit. So how have you been going? I'd love to hear.
In short, bloody well.
Yeah, well,
bombing them. I've been hitting a little gentle draw, carrying off the tee roughly 230.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's good for you.
And to prove that, there's the bunkers on the 8th hole where you need to clear the bunkers to get in the fairway, and I have. So yet to see you out there, which is not surprising.
I drive 300,
talking.
so you might just be a little bit out, just short of my driving range, but that's all right.
We've been in the swell.
Yeah, we've been swelling it up. We're swell rats.
You getting barreled?
Yeah, hardcore.
In the green room.
You a surfer?
That's us.
Yeah, I get shacked.
Yeah. Say no more.
We haven't used that one yet.
You're bringing something instantly to the podcast, which we love.
Anyway, the reason we've got you, for many reasons, we do love a little bit of Stephen May. You're a very
The
funny
only
guy,
reason,
but-
I'd say comfortably, the only reason you're here is because of your best friend.
Yes. Well, you say he's your best friend. We don't hear it much coming from his end, but
Which we'll bring up.
That's a touchy subject.
Big
We'll bring
Brother's
it up.
own Dan Gorringe. Would you just give us? We're going to give him a ring in a second, but would you give us how your friendship is from your point of view?
Yeah, well, I think you touched on it. It's a bit of a one-way friendship at the moment. He's forgotten about me since he's gotten famous.
Yeah.
Not rich and famous. He didn't end up winning. So that's, but yeah, famous definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, we obviously got drafted together to the Suns, and we moved in from our host families together, and that was challenging. He's a bit of a mummy's boy. You have to clean up after him and that. And so, anyways, fast forward 10 years, get traded to Melbourne. Beautiful, come, let's move in together. I said, oh, sweet, yep. Move in, nothing's changed. Except he's got 2 dogs that are that annoying. And so, yeah, I lived with him for all of last year. He moved out with Anna, his partner, and I moved in by myself. And then he
Never
went on
been
Big
happier.
Brother. Yeah, and now we're both happy, and he's forgotten about me a bit, but, he's back.
Big Daniel Gorringe. Dan,
Big red shed.
Boys,
how are
thanks
you?
for having me. Thanks for that great intro as well. It was awesome. Hey, Gus, we're mates though, so it's all good.
Oh, yeah, would have thought. I don't know where Max is getting his facts from. You're turning into John Ralph, non-factual
No.
information on the airwaves.
We've been going to John Ralph all day, Dan. He falsely wrote mine and Angus's wage in the paper and Steve's. He said Steve was on. What did he say? You're on 700. You're on a lot more.
700 a month.
That's unders.
That's unders.
And the rest, Ralphie.
That's what you would have been on if you had a wand. What happened?
Almost touches.
Oh, mate. I don't know. I've been robbed here. I'm still doing a thorough recount of the votes. There is a lot to get through. So, yeah, could have been on a quarter what Steve's on, but it's okay. We were back on the tools today and back to the real world, so it's good.
Who won?
Well.
Was it Chad? He can't even put two words together.
Apparently Chad's won. It's a raw at the system, so I don't know. Yeah, Chad's won, so I don't know what he's going to do with the money, but good on him.
All right. So the main reason is Steve talks very well about you around the club, and obviously you have gotten bigger in your name with reality TV. And we just didn't, like, you spoke a lot about Anna on Big Brother, which is fair enough. She's the love of your life. And,
Your rock, yeah.
I would have done the same thing and spoken about Jess.
Absolutely.
But you never mentioned Steve on Big Brother to a point where it was becoming a big elephant in the room that there's this best friend that you're never mentioning.
Very awkward.
Is that the producer's fault, or did you just simply forget about Steve when you went on the air?
Oh, guys, I think you guys should know more than on these shows are highly edited. They want to get things on the air that they want people to see. So I couldn't stop talking about Steve. So, look, Steve obviously means a lot to me. He's on par with Anna, but somehow Anna got the limelight. So sorry, Steve,
right.
you know how I feel about you.
Was Steve ever going to come to the finale and be there for you, or was that always going to be Anna?
The invite was his way, but you guys decided to go to your hubs and no one could leave. So I actually said we could bring the finale to the hub, and they denied that quite quickly. So that's okay. We tried.
So the finale went pretty well over my head, guys. I've got to say, I've never watched Big Brother. I don't quite understand the concept, but you got close to winning. So maybe you're not the best person to ask, but I'll ask anyway. How do you go about competing in and then winning Big Brother? What's the whole gimme?
Well, essentially it's I know, Gus, I thought we were tired of that after having one burrito bowl meal together, but that's okay. Essentially it's the old Big Brother, which you probably wouldn't have watched, which is just the social experiment of chucking everyone in a house, combined with this new survivor type setup. So you're all living in the same house, but the challenge is you've got to win and win the power and then further yourself in the game. So I wasn't very good at the challenges, but I was pretty good at the social side of the game. So you've got to be good at all aspects of the game to try and get yourself as far as you can.
And then they vote at the end, and you just got stiffed, it sounds like.
Yeah. So you go through each every couple of days you do a challenge, and then someone will win a challenge. They'll chuck up 3 housemates to put up for eviction, and the housemates obviously vote for who they want to leave. So I did well and survived all those for 19 or so of those. And the last one is obviously the public vote on who they want to win. And unfortunately, we couldn't get over the line, but we gave it a good shake. So, just fell over the last hurdle.
That's flattening, Dan.
It was. It was a tough day. It was a tough day, that one.
I honestly thought you were home, especially when you started voting off your mates. I felt like that was a real ballsy move.
I decided that I'll probably stuff this up from the get-go and I started throwing mates on a bus, and Australia could see that. So that's when I knew I was in a bit of trouble about episode 3.
All right. Anyway, more importantly, this is a footy podcast, and I know you more for your stuff on the footy field. And we played at Metricon this week, and lucky enough, I don't know how they set up the numbers at our club, but the number 11 was over the top of the Gold Coast number 47, and I didn't see your name in the locker.
Yes.
Are you aware that your name's not on the 47 locker? And Maisie, what was his nickname? 40.
Guys, do you want to perhaps explain your nickname you got after your debut?
No, I think you gave me that one. I've never given myself a nickname, but apparently the word Flight 47 was getting around. That
Flight
name.
47, yeah, right? Is that?
Yeah. Because I took I don't know if you've seen, but I pretty much took a massive hanger on Brian Lake. They'd open the roof up for that one.
So you'd love Maxi Gawn at the moment, who's basically a springboard for some of the high flyers in the AFL at the moment. You'd be loving him.
Yeah, I know. Maxi's a bit of a launch pad for the high flyers.
Isn't he?
Sorry, Maxi.
No, that's all right.
You're getting good spots, mate, but you're just not in the right spot. Nothing is taken on you.
I'm just not getting the support from my defenders.
You're not. If someone could give you a chop out, Steve.
Yeah.
Mate, I'm trying. It's Christian Salem chasing me.
Yeah, actually, Salem let 5 blokes jump in my head. But your name wasn't up in number 15 either. It was all about Noah Anderson.
See, that's insulting. I mean, I give to these blokes until I can't give any more. And to have a name, probably scratched off.
Yeah.
I would have thought.
That's an insult. That's okay.
Just going back to the relationship with Steve, I found it very touching when you came down to Skilled Stadium, looking like you've had 1 hour sleep. I found it really touching that Steve chose you to hand over the jumper. It felt like you were a little bit nervous or potentially still asleep. I'm not sure which one. What was that moment like for you presenting the jumper to Steve?
Oh, it was great, Max. Sometimes the nerves get to you, and I did look like a nervous wreck, obviously. So walked in there, and I was in awe because there's so many big names. Obviously, yourself, Gus was there.
Yeah.
The big stars there looking at me, and I'm presenting a speech to my best mate. So the moment got me. I looked tiresome. I looked, in shock, and I was. So it was a great moment, very privileged, and something I'll look back on with very fond memories.
Is that how you remember it, Steve?
Oh, yeah, I was nervous. I said, guys, do you want to present my jumper? And he goes, I'd love to, bro. And I said, we're playing Saturday, so Friday we might have to just rein it in a bit. And he goes, yeah, no worries. And he goes out for a few beers Friday. I thought, when's he coming home? Anyways, gets home, all sweet. I was driving down to Skilled. He was fine in the car, and then he just hit this massive wall. Because, we got to get there a couple of hours before.
Yep.
So the big fella's just trying to stroll around Geelong to find something to do for 2 hours. By the time he's probably obviously nervous. And all the boys are like, oh, Gorringe is here. I can't wait. This is going to be so funny. This speech is going to be
The pressure was on.
He didn't say anything remotely funny.
No.
It was like a 30-second speech. I was like, oh, thanks,
He was
bro.
actually really proud of you.
Yeah, he was. I was a bit surprised. He's never said that
That is
before.
surprising because you screened him 3 times when we were calling.
Yeah, we were just trying to
Yeah, so it screams to me, though, you've got better people to talk to and places to be, but that's all right. It was a
busy
touching
man.
speach.
It
Yeah.
was. Another thing that I just want to bring up, guys, just quickly. Steve mentioned to me that I brought up the idea maybe Steve and Goz on the podcast could be quite funny, talk a little bit about footy, a little bit about Big Brother, and you had to clear it up with someone. In particular, you had to clear it up with the network was the quote that I was told by Steve. You had to clear it up with Channel 7 to see if you could talk to a podcast that has 500 listeners.
Mate,
are you
these contracts,
a
they're
big
watertight.
deal? Are you a big deal?
No, I'm not, mate. Obviously, not a big deal at all. But I, unlike anyone, actually, you guys know this, contracts, you're tied to them. You can't go breaking them. And I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want you guys to get in trouble because I see potential in the podcast. I know people listen to this podcast. The last thing I want is for you guys to get a big fine. And that's not fair.
That would
So-
be
He's a man
easily
of the
paid
people.
by Max, who apparently is earning $950 a year.
$950.
Jesus.
Underpaid too at the moment.
Underpaid. That's unders.
That is unders. Ralph, you're on more than that, aren't you? Actually, surely.
I mean, they are a long way off. I won't tell you if they're too low or too high, but they're a long way off. No, look, it's been great to have you guys. Personally, I love following you on Insta. Although when does that Big Brother contract end? Because I'm over the Big Brother photos that
I
are coming
see.
out.
I know that. I know you're very picky about my content because I get some feedback from Steve, and sometimes he'll share with me that you want a bit more from me.
Yeah.
And you're a bit disappointed. So the contract's up, mate. So we'll get back to our scheduled programming where we were having a laugh.
Beautiful.
It's your guys' page, so we'll get back to that.
Yeah,
I know
just-
you wouldn't have liked the Big Brother content.
Keep going to Clayton Oliver for the 4 squares. We all love that video.
That's the gift that keeps on giving goals. Just remember
Yeah,
what your
it's
roots,
right, isn't
and that's as good as it gets, that stuff.
And
Well,
I
it's an easy target, the big fella.
And I do want to own up to something. In your first year at Carlton, a cruiser got injured. And you started playing with Casbolt, I think, as the ruck combo, and Melbourne were
Yes.
up next. And I watched your game because I had to do a bit of study coming up against Gorringe, and I was actually relatively worried about my opponent. And then you got dropped, and the game never ended up going ahead. But I'm just letting you know that I was worried about potentially coming up against you. When you were playing for Carlton, it was the running that made me worried. It looked like you were a good runner.
Yeah, mate, I was a good runner. I couldn't get the footy, but I could run you around in circles, which which is good. So I'm glad, mate. That makes me feel a bit better about my career. I'll even in my career, when I used to come up, I'm probably going to come up against you. Probably in NAB Cup when I did my Achilles there, thanks to you blokes.
Yeah.
Too much running.
I had this thing where, like, if I had to play, obviously, a good ruckman like yourself, you're obviously one of the, if not the best in the league, I'd actually get really worried and I'd freak myself out. Like, I'd play the game 10 times before we actually got there. So if I was told Tuesday I'm playing against Max Gawn, I go, oh, shit, I'm going to play this game 10 times in my head. And I already played the game before we even have a set of bounce.
Yeah.
And also the big worry was obviously your knee's going to come flying into my head. And I just don't want that. It's embarrassing for everyone. So sure enough, I think, you probably won't remember, the first one, you just come at me 100 miles an hour. And that's when I checked out straight away.
Yeah. I think what was more likely, Goz, is your knee flying to the back of Max's head, Flight 47. Is that the nickname? I think we'll get that off
Well,
the
the
ground.
way he's travelled, if he was in front of me and me coming out of full forward, I would have absolutely sailed his head before me in.
Hey, Goza, we're having a little experiment trying to get Gussie Brayshaw a kick at the moment, and we've thrown him out on the wing. Can you give him any tips? Remember, you trained a whole preseason on the wing, and we thought we were going to have a 200-centimetre godlike winger,
Richardson type,
but didn't really turn out. But is there any little tips you have for Gussie?
Didn't that work?
No, surprisingly, mate.
Right.
Gussie, just stay wide, mate. Don't go near it hard. Just stay as wide as you can, and someone will flick out to you eventually.
Yeah, I just need Steve May to stop kicking worm burners and actually get him up in the air. Then I'll be half a chance.
Okay, that's fair.
I've got this new cool game. It goes, I'd take a shot every time Steve just doesn't kick in from the square. He actually plays on outside. He's getting pissed every game.
Cheapies.
I'm looking through his stats the other day. I was, God, he's getting 20 a game. What's going on? And I realised that opposite are kicking 15 points a game. Makes sense.
Oh, that's good. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll make sure we'll send the invoice. Who do we send that to? Channel 7?
Just Channel 7, mate, and we'll sort out from there, mates rates.
Beautiful.
Gornie, am I getting that box of Callaways?
Yeah. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah,
thanks to our friends at Callaway.
Just making sure we cleared that with everyone.
Yeah, look after me, boys. I need it after missing out 2:30.
You just mentioned 2:30. All right. Anyway, thanks, guys. You'll be able to listen to this on all the popular airways such as melbournefc.com.au.
Thanks, boys. Thanks for having me. Good luck on the weekend. Go D's, eh?
Thanks,
guys.
Thanks, bro.
That was very funny, Steve. He's a quality human, and I wish Melbourne got him in for a year or two.
Yeah,
help with the culture.
He's a locker room guy, big time.
He is. Unfortunately, he was talking about how nervous he got before ruck contests.
Mate,
imagine how nervous he would have got against the challenge beast Sophie in Big Brother.
See, that's straight over my head. What's a challenge beast, Sophie?
They just do challenges like Survivor.
And who's Sophie?
Sophie was one of the top 3
Okay.
at the end, and she's a Darwin girl, actually. That I know. So it's a bit awkward. I didn't know who to vote for because guys hadn't spoken to me for a while, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just vote for Chad.
And Chad's the third guy, I get.
Chad's the one who won.
Yep. Okay.
Anyway, we'll finish on this. Charlie Dixon this week, most likely.
Yep.
Obviously, some sort of a relationship there, being former teammates.
Yeah, me and Dicko are good mates.
Yeah.
Huge challenge. He's having an outstanding year. I'm really looking forward to it. Like, I love going against the best and trying to negate their influence.
Is that why you love playing golf against me? Because
Gus, we got to stop this. Soon as you need to get your handicap down before we can start having these banter.
We can't get we don't have enough time, Steve, to go through your golf game. So just finish up, mate.
Professional question. Yeah, Charlie's obviously a big influence for Port at the moment, so I'm going to have to need you to help me and sit in front of him a bit. I'll try not to let him fly.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously he's been huge and he'll go a long way to us winning the game, stopping him.
Beautiful. Thanks, Steve.
Cheers, Steve. Thanks for coming,
guys. Thanks for having me.
Good man. All right, it's time to call the supporters, call the members, call the guys out there that are barracking for us and hoping that we get over the line against Port. We don't make them just write on the Facebook post like Benny Gibson did with his old podcast. We get them in, we talk to them, we discuss all things Melbourne.
Yep.
The question was, who is your current favourite player?
The hard-hitting questions.
It was thrown out there to Twitter, and you know who mine is.
Yep.
Go say.
Corey Wagner?
No, it's Bailey Fritsch.
Yep.
And I said that in the first episode.
Well,
so
you sponsored Corey Wagner.
I sponsored Corey Wagner, correct. And the answer that this Melbourne supporter gave us was Bailey Fritsch as well. So we thought we'd get him on. It is Benny. Benny, you there?
Yes, I am.
Where are you calling? Oh, sorry. Well, we called you, but where are we calling you from? No, we're calling. We're calling you from Twin Waters, but where are you?
I'm down in Cheltenham, down in
God's
Melbourne,
country,
southeast.
Would you call that Bayside?
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
I'd call it Bayside.
I'm a Sandy boy, Benny. So nice and close. I love your work, Cheltenham. You're going to do well today, I think.
Yep.
What side of the highway? Just out of curiosity.
I'm on the non-beach side, so the Southland side.
I'm very surprised Angus is still here talking to you now. He doesn't. He tends not to talk to people on the other side of the Nepean.
Yep.
Only associates with the Sandringham side, I said.
Gornie counts because if you track the Nepean down the peninsula, he's on the good side, so he makes the cut.
I do make the cut.
We're gonna have to talk off air and sort this one out, but I'll push on. I'm a professional, so we'll push on.
Can I ask, without getting into too much of your life, what school you go to?
Cheltenham.
Cheltenham High. So he's
Come on, Max.
secondary, yeah.
Obviously, mate.
he is a public school boy in the Bayside area, which I was. So this, Benny, you can have the
Angus
prize
will be
already.
happy.
I'm a public school boy.
You went to a public kindergarten, mate.
I went to
Doesn't count.
Sandringham East Primary School from the sticks. I grew up hard. Don't worry about that. I had it tough.
All right, so Benny, you need this Zurich Tiny Team set that we're giving away for trivia because, unfortunately, you're on the other side of the highway. You need all you can get.
Yep.
Clearly, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Have they set up a wall in Brighton yet to make sure no one's going in to see all the Karens in there?
Well, I think they're planning to. The Karens aren't too pleased about it. So
Yeah, I've been petitioning
something's being
hard.
done.
I'm a big voice in Bayside, so hopefully that gets up soon.
All right, so you got five questions. If you get all of them right, you get a Zurich Tiny Team. If you get none of them right, you'll also probably get a Zurich Tiny Team.
We're pretty friendly.
Yeah, we're
Ben.
relatively
Don't worry,
friendly.
mate.
You ready?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's do it. First question. Collingwood are joining us in the hub next week. So Collingwood come from Perth and they come join us in the hub. Which former ex-Demons are currently playing for Collingwood?
Okay, so we've got Lyndon Dunn.
Yep.
Who else have we got? Former ex-Demons playing for Collingwood.
Probably the best player in their team.
He likes
Jeremy
taking-
Howe.
Ah, well
Jeremy
done.
Howe, yeah.
Well done. Two from two there, which is 1 from 1. I hope you counted at home.
Yep.
Second question. I've had how many coaches at the Melbourne Football Club?
Jeez, that's tough.
Senior coaches.
That's a tough one.
Okay, so Dean Bailey. it would have
One.
been.
Yep. And then he got sacked. Who was his interim coach?
Todd Viney.
2. And then who replaced Todd Viney as the main coach?
Would have been Mark Neal.
3. Who?
Neil Craig.
Neil Craig. 4.
Paul Lewis.
5. Can you get the last one? This is the hardest one.
Simon Goodwin.
6.
Bravo.
This is incredible.
That's
We're
unreal.
going to have to give you more than just a tiny team. Might give you an Angus Brayshaw signed helmet.
Wow.
Oh.
Top of the shelf stuff there.
If you wear that, you'll win the Brownlow.
Well, you'll come third.
easy.
You won't quite
Come
make it
third.
because you're no good, but you'll definitely attract some votes.
How many former captains do we have on our list?
Oh, okay. We've got Nathan Jones,
1,
Jack Viney.
2.
Is this at all clubs?
Yeah, well, if they're a former captain, yep.
Yeah, Stephen May.
Stephen May, 3. I didn't do any more research, but I think it's just the 3.
Yeah, it would have to be, wouldn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't think Kate Kolodjasny.
Didn't quite.
No, he wasn't
quite climb that tree.
I don't think.
Last 2 more. Who are the 3 people over 200 centimetres on our list?
Oh, we've got you, Maxi.
Yeah, that's 1.
We've got big Braden Bruce.
Braden Bruce. Now this one's the big one.
Ooh.
There's an obvious
Yeah.
one, but it's not the obvious one.
Jeez, who's the obvious one?
Yeah, I don't think it's Luke Jackson, is it?
It's
It'll
not.
be. Oh.
Now debatable. He hasn't played yet, so that does.
Oh, is it Bradkey?
Yes! How about it?
Come on.
Unreal stuff.
Oh, what's his first name? Just out of curiosity.
Austin.
Yes.
Double points.
And the last question: what's my favourite TV show?
Oh God. Oh.
You won't get this, but it was on Foxtel last night, season 8, first episode.
Was it Wentworth?
You're kidding.
That's incredible.
That is. Are you serious? That's your favourite?
Oh, that is 5 from 5.
It's not my favourite.
No,
I saw it
it's my
trending on
favourite.
Twitter
No,
last
sorry, I was
night,
talking to
so I
Max.
thought that
That's-
might have been on.
Yeah, it was trending on Twitter last night. I'm pretty
That's
sure.
unbelievable.
Benny, you've got 5 from 5, and you've absolutely nailed that.
Hang on, can we just say that's a 5 from 5, and the 5th one
You didn't know personally.
I don't
did
think
you?
anyone. Did you tweet it last night?
No.
You're a big tweet. Okay,
No.
well then
I
how
just
on
saw
earth?
it, I
That's a
just saw
guess.
it trending, and I knew it was on Foxtel.
My God,
Yeah, right.
that's unreal.
Well, we might have to chuck in something else. We'll have a little brainstorm back of house.
Yep, we'll get back to you.
You've definitely got a Zurich Tiny team. Are you going to be watching the game tomorrow night?
Oh, I'm definitely going to be. I've already set it up, getting my jumpers ready, and going to be supporting the D's hard.
Good
against-
man.
that.
You reckon we'll get the power?
Yeah, easy.
Well, let's hope people are listening to this before the Port Adelaide game and not after.
Yeah.
And it
I'll
all,
sound like a bit of a fool then, but no, we should win, hopefully.
and then hopefully we can get back to Melbourne and play some footy in front of you at the G at some point.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Good man. Thanks for jumping on, Benny.
Thanks, Ben.
Awesome.
Legend.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate. All right. End of the podcast. I think we've gone over, but we've gone less than the 1 hour we did last
Yep.
week, so we're on the decline. We had Gorringe.
Yes.
Once we finally get someone that's not a massive guess, maybe like my wife, Jess.
Yeah, sure.
We can just get it in and out in 35 minutes.
I have to say, the lack of 20-minute horse story probably worked in our favour this week.
It did. I do hope Jess doesn't listen to the podcast. I think she might.
Probably doesn't.
We might even get Danielle, since I'm presuming I'm not going to get you without Danielle for the next 9 weeks. Now she's in the hub.
That's a terrible presumption.
Yeah.
And I've got my priorities sorted, and this podcast is high up there, so I'll be here.
Well, it's obviously not because of the 9:29 arrival. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. Thanks to Zurich, and we'll see you next week.